Good evening. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the API 103, Building Applications with APIs. Today we have a very nice visitor here. Lillian knows. Hello. And she's going to talk to you about the Postman programs that are available to you. And thank you all for making it today. Yes. So before I start with the presentation of today, I will ask hello, Lillian, can you hear me? Can you guys hear can you all hear me out?
I hear you.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, perfect. All right, so let me let me introduce to you Lillian, and she's going to talk to you.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So I had my volume down though, but sorry, what was that?
So, oh, perfect, nice. Okay.
Everyone can hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Perfect. Perfect. All right, cool. Thank you for joining, everyone. Thanks for the introduction. Is this now a good time to introduce student programs, or do you want to do an introduction first?
Yes, so for API 103, I would like to do an introduction for my end after you tell me after you do your presentation for the student programs, if
Awesome.
that
Okay.
works. Perfect.
That does work perfectly fine. Let me
Perfect.
pull up the actual 1 second. But thank you all for joining. This is a great workshop. This is API 103, so you've obviously already gone through the fundamentals of APIs. My name is Lily Nose. I am a developer advocate on the student programs team here at Postman. And what I do is get to work with students just like you across the US, globally really, but mainly my focus is on the US and EMEA region. So I get to work with students across different campuses and really teach about APIs, promoting API literacy, and going to hackathons and stuff like that. So this is really my strong suit. I love working with students. And I get the opportunity to teach you a little bit about my team, what we do. And of course, you're familiar with Postman at this point a little bit, but you're going to get to know the more advanced requests with Yanilda. And I'm going to teach you a little bit what we do, our other programs, and I also have a swag challenge for all of you for attending. So let me just bring up this slide really quickly. So here, let me share my screen really quick. All right, can you see this? All right,
Yes.
So, all right, awesome. So this is the Postman Student Programs team. We have 3 different programs, and obviously all of you are kind of familiar with what we do. Yanilda is one of our beloved student leaders here, which is a program we have across campuses. This is kind of like an ambassadorship program. So we have campus ambassadors that are called student leaders. These are all previously student experts. So the student expert program is something that all of you can sign up for. If you haven't already, this is a free certification you can put on your resume. It's self-paced. It's just something that's great to have on your resume. So if you scan this QR code, you can actually create your own profile on Postman as a student. And obviously, if you've gone through API 101, 102, if you haven't already, you can scan this, register as a student, and you can be logged into our system, become a student expert, and you can actually be part of our Discord. We have big events coming up, so you'll just be informed on there. And if you're actually a student expert or leader, you'll be having access to those exclusive events very soon. The last program we have is the classroom program. This is something that's a little bit more exclusive. We have our curriculum actually integrated with other schools. Notably, we have Berkeley and Clemson that we're working with. We have students working in their classes. Teachers will actually have the API fundamental certification as a homework assignment. And we have API 101, 102, 103 integrated within classrooms. So those are our 3 programs. I definitely would encourage you to look on our website to see if more things. This is all the information we have. If you're interested about any 3 of these, feel free to sign up. You can register as a student. You can apply to be a student leader on your campus, and encouraging your professors, or if you're a teaching assistant, to integrate the classroom program into your courses. But this is a really great opportunity for all of you. I highly recommend the student leader program as well. But I have a swag challenge for all of you who came out on your Friday evening. Thank you so much for taking the time to learn about Postman. Let me see where it is. So we have a swag challenge. I am going to make a little bit. Oh yeah, hello. Let me see. This one has specific things. You don't have to send it directly to my email. You can actually just share your learnings on social media. So either Twitter, now known as X, or LinkedIn. And I just want to see what you learned from this workshop. This is obviously a very involved workshop. You're going to be actually creating your own application. So this is something that you can really show on your LinkedIn or Twitter and really show recruiters and whoever's in your network what you created. So this is a great resource. You're doing it either way to benefit yourself, but also you can get some swag out of it. So why not just get some swag? It's actually a really cool swag code to our Postman store. I'm going to show you that in a second, but I love our swag. That is one of the big things that I love about Postman. I think everything is really greatly designed. But you can have a week, the end of this next week. I know next week is a holiday, but if you finish the API fundamental certification, you want to share that badge, or if you just want to share what you've built today during this workshop, I highly recommend that you do so. Use the hashtag Postman student, and then you can send it over to either me or Yanilda with the title swag contest, just saying that you submitted something and a link to your badge or link to your post. I'm actually going to show you the swag store right now. I think it's store.postman.com. We have a lot of things here. It's $20, so obviously you won't be able to get our zip up hoodie or something like that, but we still have great things that you can purchase for under $20. So definitely feel free, remember to do that. But also, I just want to shout out this one last thing before I pass off the reins. We actually have a new project out, which is a project-based learning. It's very similar to what you're doing today. So if you do enjoy what you're working on today and you love creating applications and getting to work with all of that stuff, we actually just launched a new project-based learning module. This is a completely new set of courses. We have the API fundamentals course, and that's very basic, but this is where we want to really expand on this knowledge and get you to work on projects now. So this is an AI text summarizer app. We're using Postman to generate some code. We're also using Node.js, Express, Hugging Face API. And this is really all combining to make one full stack application, very bare bones for you to expand on this and work on it. But the idea is that you get to learn how to build this and you can expand on this and start making your own side projects from it. So very similar to what you're working on now. You'll also get a certification and a badge from this. So if you like what you're doing today, feel free to check this out. It's a completely handheld course on our Postman Academy page, but you have to register as a student first. So I'm just going to bring up this QR code again. Yeah, this QR code, you can scan this, you can take a picture of it, save it for later, or you can use the tiny URL link in the upper right-hand corner. But that was my spiel to Postman and Postman student programs. Let me actually send you the link right here so that you can register as a student. And here, let me find that. This is the link to the actual course for PBL, the project-based learning one, which is the full stack application. And let me find the register as a Postman student. Yeah, let me just send this. Oh my God. And yeah, if anyone has any questions about Postman, my role, what we do here, or the student expert program at all, you can feel free to message me. You can message me at any time about the actual course that you're going to be learning about today. And just my email is open to any student. So I'm really here just to answer any questions at all before you get started. And if no one has any questions, feel free to email me, but I'm going to just pass it over. This is a really great workshop. This is one of my favorites. So I think you're really going to learn a lot from this one.
Thank you so much, Lillian, for making it and for giving this information to the students that have joined us today. Thank you.
Of course, yeah. I would love to see how your workshop goes. And yeah, just send me the recording after. I would love to see it. But
Perfect.
it was really nice seeing all of you. And thank you for having me. It was really nice getting to talk about this.
Thank you for making it.
Of course. All right. I'm going to stop sharing and pass it over to you. I'm going to drop my email into the chat if anyone needs it. And also, don't forget about that swag challenge. You all are here anyways. You might as well get some swag out of it. All you need to do is just do a simple social media post. But that is my personal email, actually. Just replace that with postman.com, and that one's the correct one. But you can send the swag challenge to either me or Yunilda. Thank you so much. Feel free to email me if you have any other questions, or connect with me on LinkedIn if you have anything that you want to talk about. All right. Have a great rest of your workshop, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Take care. See you in next time. All right, guys. So today we are going to go over API 103, and I hope you guys enjoyed today's workshop and you guys learned a lot. We are going to do it quick today because it is going to be quick. Yes. Okay, so basically, in the last workshop, you learned about creating workflows or building workflows in Postman platform. Today, you're going to learn about how to create code directly from Postman platform, but also you're going to reuse the knowledge that you learned in the last workshop as well. Hello, you guys made it. I'm so glad. So this is me. I am a Postman student leader, and I am a CS adjunct lecturer at Liebman College. Some of you already are taking classes with me. And I am very glad that you guys made it. So in the previous workshop, you had the task to create a workflow that will allow a blogger to get song recommendations. So you created that workflow by making a chain of APIs. Today, the music blogger loved the workflow that you made by getting song recommendations, and they want to add it to their website. So they have hired you again to make a publicly accessible web application that lets the user get song recommendations by submitting a form. We are going to be using the Glitch platform to serve your your Node application, your Node server, okay? And we're going to go over that. So today we're going to learn to build an automated API workflow in Postman to create a song discovery app with the Spotify API. We're going to go over OAuth that you learned about it in the last workshop, and we're going to talk about building workflows themselves. We have seen that on the workshop. So if you have already completed that workshop from last webinar, we are going to use that code from the last webinar. But also, in order to make it fast, what I'm going to do is to give you the code itself, and then making slight changes. I will navigate and explain the code itself, so you guys have it ready and you guys can do your own modifications. So I will also show you how to translate workflows that have been created in Postman platform, and also how to debug your app using Postman. So the first thing on our agenda is to give you an introduction to Glitch, and then how to create web applications with Node.js and Express. Also, how to we're going to review the OAuth authentication authorization flow, and we are going to build the recommendation apps using Node.js and Express.js. And at the end, we are going to have a Q&A session. So, introduction to Glitch. So basically, what Glitch is a free collaborative editor that you can not only edit your files in there, but you can also serve all your files in there, serve your server, put your client, and put your server-side files, and build that automatically gets built, and everything that you edit is going to be automatically saved. Okay. And this in here is an example of how it looks like when you are creating your own, when you are editing or creating your own files. So these are some quick facts about Glitch, the free tier. So you have the ability to create full stack apps, and it deploys as you type. Any changes that you make is automatically being deployed. And you can have an unlimited amount of static sites, and it integrates with GitHub and Prettier. The limitations are that the apps fall asleep after 5 minutes without use, and you can get a total of 100 project hours a month, including when you are editing your project. So now that you learned about Glitch, and we're going to go over Glitch a little bit more, let's talk about building with Node.js and Express.js, right? So in here, Node.js, if some of you might be familiar with this already, Node.js is a runtime environment that allows you to run JavaScript outside of the browser. Okay, so you can build your server apps using Node.js. It's like more of the backend. You are creating backend, and JavaScript is using Node.js, right? And Express is a Node.js framework that makes it easier for you to create your servers, right? You can create servers with just with Node.js without Express, and you can create server with Node.js and Express. Express is going to make it way easier for you to make the server-side application. This is how a small server looks like using Node.js and Express. The first thing is that you are going to import. You're going to import Express. So in order for you to import it, you are going to use the built-in function require. Okay, and And that then and then you are storing the reference to that into the constant variable express. And then you can create, then you're calling you're creating an express instance, okay? And you're storing that reference into the app, right? Into the app constant. And then you can, it's not necessarily, but you can create a variable to put the port number. The port number where you want your server app to be serving. And in here, we have a route for this /. So this in here, it's handling a GET request that goes to the route /. And in there is a parenthesis when you have the request and response, REC for request and response. And when you want to send a response, to the client side, you are going to put response.send or rest.send, and you can send that response. If you want to grab values or parameters that are sent from the client side to the server side, then you use the request, the REC, request a parameter to grab parameters from there, right? And then after you're done, at the very end, then you have to do the listen. It's like doing app.run to run, or app.listen, and it's going to listen on that given port that you're given, right? And then you're going to, if you want to display something, well, when it first runs, when you first run it, right, it's going to say app example listening on port, and then putting the port number in there. This is a standard simple app. Some of you already that have been in my class have seen creating a server app using the HTTP server in Python. Pretty much similar, but different languages. So there are some different concepts that you need to understand. When it comes to serving apps in the server.js, right? So here we have the require, which is in order for you to import node modules. Okay, it's similar to the import in Python. I already told you all of that. And the rec, which is the short for request, is going to hold data about the request to the server side. The rest, which is a short for response, is going to send an object to as a response to the client side. And then you have roots, okay? So basically, right here, you have the roots /, okay? That roots. And in here, you define how to handle those requests based on the different path, okay? For example, you can return an HTML file or other data. And then the port is a space on the server for your app to connect a process. When your app is running, it will be accessible through this port. So basically right now, there are multiple services running in your computer, and all these services will be using a different port number, right? So if you don't want to provide a port number, like a different port number that is not currently being used. If you can use the port number 80, but there might be, if you have multiple app applications that are not using any port numbers and you put the port number 80 not to show after the colon, then you can only have one service running per different port. So how do we make a full stack? Okay, so how do we make a full stack? So first, in the front end, which is the client side, we are going to have an HTML file. Okay, do you see where it says public? The public is going to contain the client side information, right? And then any serving any public static files such as JS, CSS, and so on, you can serve them inside your server side, right? So for example, in the bottom, we are serving the this index.html file, okay? And this is the structure that you have in here. So in here, we have that the static folder for Express is called public. So any static file is going to be in the any static file is going to be in the public folder in here. So you're grabbing every file to be able to in order for you to be able to serve it, you are grabbing you can grab any file from this public folder now. Okay. So in here we have an example of the which you can access through here. This is Glitch, right? And this is an example on how this is looking like right now. This is the started, the given started, not this one, here, 1 second. This one. The second, is it this one? Copy. Paste. This one, Postman Express started. In here, you can see in here how the server is here. And the code for the server is here. It's handling this route in here. And in here, you have the HTML file that is showing in here. And then there is the CSS file, right? So if you want to say, instead of saying hello world, you can say in here, hello students. But in order for you to do this, to remix this, you need to click on remix to be able to edit it. So you are going to have your own copy of this. It's going to give you a random name, which you can change, okay? Which you can change anytime you want, okay? So you have the settings, you have the project details, and so on. If you want to see the preview, you can switch the preview in the same window. You can close the preview in the same window. You can see the preview in a different window. And we have the terminal to see any commands prompts or anything, any console. logs, the status, and so on. So let's say I want to close this terminal. Once I close this terminal because we don't need it right now, and I'm going to just open the view next to each other, and instead of me saying hello world, I will say hello students. So let's say you don't want to change, you don't want to have it in this color, right? So if you don't want it in this color, you can always change this color. So basically this in here is the H1. So I'm coming here and I see this H1 color. And instead of me having this as primary, I'm going to have it as a blue. Semicolon. And you can see that this was changed, right? So the CSS is for the styling. JavaScript is the script.js is for your JavaScript code. And then you have in here what is the index.html, and everything in this public is the client side. This in here is going to be for your environmental variables that you want to keep a little bit more secret. And this in here, these environmental variables, you're going to be using these environmental variables in the server side, right? You don't want to use those environmental variables in the public side. You use them in the server side. And in here, you guys can see that this is using Express. This is simple Express, and you can see that any changes that I made are automatically changed. So everything is automatically changed in here. All right, so now that you navigated through this, let's continue. So the Node.js plus Express apps, right? We have in here the server side and the client side. In the server side, in orange, we are going to have the server.js, the packet.json that stores the packages and node modules and metadata, etc. And you have in here what is the .env, which is that environment file, the environment variables. These environment variables, you can store some sensitive credentials in there. Okay, so that will be not accessible for the front end. It will be only accessible from the back end. And you have in here the client side, which contains the index.html and the script.js in this folder, right? Simple enough. So for building this, I'm not going to go much long, like I don't want to spend the whole entire time. So we're going to be using the already created demo, and I'm going to go over this. And I'm going to remind you about Spotify develop. We are going to go to the Spotify for developers, the web API, and we're going to log in. We're going to log in with you already I assume that you already have a developer account for Spotify. I'm going to put this link in here. So remember in the last time that you clicked on dashboard, and then we created the song recommender, right? Remember that time? So what we are going to need right now is the client ID and the client secret. So I'm going to go back and share with you the link that I just shared for the already completed application. Now, if you want to test it, you can test it here, but what we want to do is to remix it and edit it. So this is here. So I'm going to remix to edit. And now when I go to the environmental variables, I have this variable in here, the Spotify client ID and the Spotify client secret. So we have this in here. We have in here the public folder in which we are going to be using this, where this form it has been created. Form discover new tunes, and this form has been created. Okay, and then the JavaScript that we used, and here we are using Axios to handle the request from the APIs, okay, from backend to front end and from front end to backend. Okay, so we use Axios to handle the API calls from the front end to the back end. Okay, so, and here we are posting the recommendations once we get the results. So basically in here we are right now, we have some variables. And then in here we have actions that post / recommendation, and we are passing in the track, and the artist. We are getting that from here, from these two fields, okay? These two text boxes. Where from here. So basically right now we have two input text boxes. So type text, okay, so input type text, and the name of this is track, and the name of the other input is artist. Okay, so in order for you to get the artist name and the backend that I enter in here, okay, in order for you to get the those two things that I enter in here, I am doing this. So basically I'm doing this. When the submit form, there is a submit form function, okay, it's handling the event, okay, and then from the event I am doing I'm creating the elements to get all the values from the target, and then I am getting that from the form, right, and the input of type text, which name is track, I'm getting the value from it, okay? And the input type text, which name is artist, I'm getting the value from it. So if I put in here Mamma Mia, right, and artist, I forgot the artist, I think ABBA. If I do that and I console.log in here, I'm going to put it here, just right here. drag, and then just pass the drag. If I put in here, and then let me open the terminal. If I put in here Mamma Mia, and the artist Ava, and I send to get recommendations. Right now it says wrong because I haven't gotten the token, and that's fine. But I inspect this, and I go to the I can see in here that in the console for this, I see that there is something that says drag and something that says Mamma Mia, because that's this line of code in here. Drag, and then whatever I put in here, let's say for example I put toxic, okay, and in here I put Britney Spears, okay, I can see that the track in here is toxic, okay. Now, any questions so far? So I in this you can see that we were successfully able to get the values, the forms from the value from the form that we enter in here, okay? Then with eggshells in here, we are sending the request with the path, right, to the Spotify API. And then if we are getting data, or if we are getting data in the results, we are getting data, we are going to store it into this recommendations variable constant, okay? So we have in here, so you guys can see in here for the Spotify, we have in here actions. We are using the actions to be able to send the request, to be able to handle the request. And then the first thing that we are going to be doing is that if you go back into the documentation, we are not going to be doing right now, we're not going to be doing the authorization code that we did in the last class, right? I mean, in the last webinar. Right now we are handling everything from the backend, from the server side. So all we're going to be using for this is the credentials. And the credentials are nothing else but the client Spotify ID, and we need, in order for us to get the credentials, we have to put the Spotify client ID and the Spotify client secret, and it has to be base64. And then also we have to specify, we also have to specify that we are using client credentials method, okay? And then we're going to be able to get the Spotify access token, okay? We're getting the Spotify access token by providing those credentials, okay? So this in here is the, if you guys remember from the last time, the Spotify token URL, okay? And that is going to access the server that generates a token for you, okay? And once you send all these options, containing also the data, which are the client credentials, then you are going to be making this and getting a response, and this response must contain the access token. And then in actions in here, this contains the base URL to the API to be able to search recommendations and to search to be able to search recommendations and to search also the ID for the track ID for that specific song and an artist. Okay, so now after this, it's time for us to go over the server part in here. So in the server part in here, we are handling, okay? We are handling the recommendations, okay? We are handling those different paths, like for example, the recommendations. And in this path, right, we are going to be we're going to also be waiting for the track and the artist from the front end, and also getting the access token. And after that, preparing the actions to then grab those tracks, okay? Grabs those tracks, results, saving this result, and then after that, grabbing the ID from the results, and then after that, making a call, right, to get recommendations from this in here, actions.js, for the get recommendation function from the actions.js. Okay, so this in here, I'm going to go over and grab the client ID that we have from last time, but if you are new in here, I can go over and start a new one for you. So if this is your first time in the API webinar, I'm going to start from scratch. You have to go to developer.spotify.api, the spotify.com. Okay. If you don't have an account, you create the account, you sign up for it, and it's free. And then you click on create app. Okay. Basically in here, what I have in here, I'm going to just go from here because I'm going to go ahead and use the callback from the callback that we have. So I'm going to go ahead and grab the callback information. So I click on settings. And this is the callback that is in every, everybody has this callback. I'm going to paste it here if you guys don't have it, so you guys can just put it there. You get this callback from, okay, you get this callback from the Postman API. Okay, so From the Postman API, yes. So I'm going to go ahead and create a new app in here. And this is going to be called API 103. The app description, you need an app description is required. So app, web app for recommendations. And this URI, type it. And the redirect URI is just nothing less than just a callback for Postman. And then I click on Web API because I just need the Web API. I click on I understand. And I'm going to put this. And I have already this. And then I click on settings. And I have the client ID and the client secrets. So for the client ID, now I'm going to go to the environmental variables, okay, and paste it. Okay. And now I go to the client secret for myself, copy. And I go to the environmental variable, environment variable, and paste it. And it's automatically saved. You don't need to save because automatically auto saves. So now if I go ahead and put Mamma Mia and I put ABBA, I automatically here, I'm getting recommendations. And where is this part of it? So in the server side, after I have getting after I have getting the task from the recommendations, right? I am sending those tracks back to the client, okay? And after I send those tracks back to the client, I go to in here. So 1 second. I go to the script.js. And in here, I'm just grabbing that, okay, the response in the result. And I'm grabbing the tracks that I sent from the backend on my server side. And I am slicing that to get just the top 3. If you want, you can change it to get the top 4. So if you put in here toxic and Britney Spears, you can see now that there are 4 recommendations in here, and so on. So in here, you have these handlebars for the template. And this in here as recommendation, recommendation.html. So this in here is going to be stored in here as stored and displayed in the inner HTML. Okay, so let's take a look back into what we have created in the past. And let's see how to generate code if you don't want to code match from the Postman API, right? So I'm going to sign in the Postman account. I don't remember the password. Into your Postman platform. Okay. Public API testing. And I'm going to go ahead and see this one that we created last time, right? And we have this, okay? We have this code. Let me go to the not this one, because this is not the code. I go to the test. And what's in the last class? In the last API was which one? Was it this one? So I have this in here to get recommendation in here. Do you see this code in here? From this, discover new tracks and so on. You can click on here and change the snippet and get also change different languages. Okay, so you see this thing in here that says code. In there, you can change these languages, and if you want this version or Kotlin and so on, if you want it in Exos, you can use Exos as well. So you can generate the code from what you have written for you. So I'm coming back into here. I go here to get this one, like a call request, and you want to get it as Node.js Actions, you can just click on here and you get it, right? If you want to get it in a different language, let's say for example, Python, and this one using request, or Python using HTTP client, you can do it like that. Like after you have done this, after you have created your request, you can turn this instead of you sending that, you can see the code in there, and you can copy this code and put it directly into your application for the recommendation. Also for this in here, the code behind this, not into the test, right? The code behind this, you can just click on here, and this is going to grab every data that is going to get everything that is going to be shown here. It's going to generate it. You change the language you want. You want in here using Node.js Actions, which is why we are using Actions, and you can just copy this into your application, and you don't and it saves you time from coding. Okay, and that's it for the show. Any questions? I try myself. I try to make it fast. Usually, if I go over from scratch, I would if I go over from scratch, it will have taken more than 2 hours. So I wanted to just go over and explain the code for you guys to be able to test it on your own, how to do it, how to modify it. And remember, you can have glitch and host any application that you guys have, and so on. Any questions so far? You want to change the color of the background. You can always change it. You can do any changes. You can make your own implementation of this. Okay. Any questions? Did you any questions? Did you guys like the workshop of today? Was it informative? Was it nice?
Yes. Thank you.
Awesome. I'm glad to hear that. So this is what I'm going to do. So if you guys have any questions, you guys can always reach out to me. This is one thing. Also, there is swags. If you guys want to participate in the challenges, you guys can just write a complete any certification or make changes, make it your own, and then post it. You can share it, and then you can send me the link to that. You can send me the link to that, and you then participate in the challenge, and you can get swags. Yes. So the recording will be posted. Send me an email. It will be posted on YouTube. I will send you the recording. No, you send me an email, and I will be able to send you the recording. My email is 1 second. Is this one. If you want me to give you some links and so on, if you want to become a student leader, we are looking for student leaders. For Lehman College, let me know. Postman student leader. Okay. All right, guys. So thank you so much, and I'll see you next time. Thank you for joining me. Do you guys want to leave me a feedback? Not needed. The feedback is not needed, because the feedback you can write it on the chat, and that will be enough. Okay. So have a wonderful night, and see you next time. Bye bye. Take care. Thank you. Bye bye.